Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you had lunch. Feeling sleepy? Okay. Good that you're not feeling sleepy. If you are, we are here to make you awake. All right. Let's have a look at connected experiences using Sitecore XM and Sitecore Smart Hub CDP. Right. So here I am, Varun Shringarpure. I have over total 13 years of industry experience, and I'm at Horizontal for more than 9 years now, working as a senior technology lead. And I blog at varunvns.wordpress.com. I have been a past Sitecore, a 4-time Sitecore MVP, and when I'm not doing technology, I'm either a DIY hobbyist or I'm an avid gardener.
Hi everyone. This is Chirag. I'm working as a technology lead at the Horizontal Digital, and I'm certified in all the domains of Sitecore, whether it's CDP, whether it's Order Cloud, whether it's Content Hub. And I post my blogs on passionforsitecore.wordpress.com. And apart from that, whenever I get time, I try to enjoy time with my family, especially with my dog. Yeah.
All right, so let's look at the agenda today. We'll quickly look at CDP, Personalize, and Smart Hub CDP. We will look at the basic terminologies so that then we can go to the use cases. And to understand those use cases, we'll have to, have a little bit of, information about the terminologies. Right. So let's start. So why are these, buzzwords are getting so much of importance these days? CDP and Personalize, right? So the crux of the matter is we need to understand why personalize for a user. So every customer has a different need. Let's say there are 100 users visiting an e-commerce website. One of them would like to buy either a smartphone or a smartwatch, and others might like to buy, say, a pair of shoes, right? So technically what it means is if content is the king, context is certainly the queen, right? And delivering tailored experiences at the right time is the key difference between simple personalization and a connected experience. Now let's take an example for connected experience. Let's say I am, a car enthusiast. So I go to a store and, I look at some vehicles. I take a test drive. I provide my information to them, my mobile number, my email ID, right? And post that, I'm coming back with in my old car, and I get an SMS from them. Thank you for visiting us. That is a good connect. The user then comes back home and surfs the website and tries to check for all the other features of the car and logs in with his phone number. At that point, we ask the user, hey, how was your test drive? Would you like to book the car? This is kind of a human connection. It's as good as having a conversation that kind of ended somewhere in the store. We are resuming that same conversation and moving ahead. And that is what the customers are looking for these days. Customers are not looking for brands. Customers value experience more than the brand. So let's have a quick look at one of the survey that was done by Gartner, wherein 91% of consumers are more likely to shop with the brands who recognize, remember, and provide them with relevant offers and recommendations. With that, let's jump on to Sitecore CDP. So first, what is CDP? We have heard a lot about CDP. So what is CDP? Yeah? So CDP is a collection of software which creates persistent, unified, customer database that is accessible to other systems. Data is pulled from multiple systems or sources and combined into one single customer profile. Now I'm sure we all can answer why CDP. Because it gives us a 360 view of a customer. So this is about usual CDP, but why Sitecore CDP? Yeah? So Sitecore CDP because we can track every user data, transaction, behavior, everything using Sitecore CDP. It consolidates everything into one profile, and technically we can build either audience sync, which is kind of a batch operation, or real-time syncs as soon as the user is doing something on that particular session. So if we look at the overall Sitecore CDP diagram, we can see that we receive data in different ways. Let's say the Stream API, which is, as an example, we can say Engage Library SDKs. Yeah. Then we have, let's say, the REST API. Let's consider native apps, native mobile apps, the data that we're receiving from them. We can consider that as a point from REST APIs. Next, batch API, right? So let's say there is a CRM system, SAP, or some downstream systems which is continuously synchronizing their order data or some customer information into CDP, which can then be utilized to push audience sync and perform some kind of magic for the customers. So then what is Sitecore Personalize, right? So a quick difference between CDP and Personalize is Sitecore CDP is mainly about data ingestion and getting all the data at one place, while personalization is about making sure that we are personalizing the journey for the customer as required. And over here, we can receive data like the user is accessing the website, going through different pages that will come to the personalized system using Stream API, but then we can either trigger an SMS or we can trigger experiences or experiments using the REST API. Please note, these REST APIs are different from the REST API that we saw for CDP. All right, you know what, Chirag? I'm a little confused between Sitecore, CDP, and Personalize.
Okay.
Can you help us, look at the differences between the two?
Sure, Varun. So basically, when in the community, I come across many questions. When should I opt Sitecore CDP? When should I opt Sitecore Personalize? So here we have formulated a tabular difference between Sitecore CDP and Sitecore Personalize. So here, as you can see, on the left, Sitecore CDP supports all the three APIs: Batch API, Stream API, REST API. And on the other hand, Sitecore Personalize only supports Stream API. And moving on the second point, we can see like Sitecore CDP only supports batch segmentation. So batch segmentation is like which runs nightly. Okay, every 24 hours batch segmentation runs. On the contrary, Sitecore Personalize have a same concept which comes in the terms of real-time segmentation. Okay, so when you want to go with batch segmentation, go with Sitecore CDP, which will run after 24 hours. If you want to have a real-time experience, go with real-time segmentation, in which you will use Sitecore Personalize. Now, there are some features in Sitecore CDP which are not available in Sitecore Personalize. For example, audience sync. Okay, when you will use audience sync, basically you want to sync your data from your CDP to any third party, right? So in that case, you will use audience sync. So that is available only in CDP, not in Personalize. Guest collection, guest data collection, all the events, all the sessions, which goes only comes in CDP. Guest dashboard reports. Okay, so dashboard reports are like, if you want to see like my users are visiting daily, at what time, right? So that reports, analytic reports, you can consider them. So that is only available on CDP. And if you consider Personalize, so on Personalize we have decisioning, which I can say is the crux of the entire CDP. So if you want to do any kind of business logic, you will go ahead with decisioning. And then experiences and experimentation are also supported in Personalize. So this is the overall differences which comes when we are going for Sitecore CDP and when we are going for Sitecore Personalize.
Right, so Smart Hub CDP. Now we know the two differences, and we know how striking differences they have. What if both of them match together? So Chirag, can you please take us through what is Smart Hub CDP?
So now you can see CDP has some features, Personalize has some features, but Smart Hub CDP is a union of both CDP as well as Personalize, right? So in this case, you can see on the right where we have shown a Smart Hub CDP, it have every section: customer data, experiences, experimentation, decisioning, library, and all other aspects. So here, basically, in our technology terms, this is a Venn diagram to better explain when to use Smart Hub CDP. So Smart Hub CDP is a union of both of them. So I would recommend use Smart Hub CDP whenever you are going for enterprise platform, right? So then this is a product to go ahead. But if you are not moving up to any enterprise solution, then you can opt either for CDP or Personalize. But yeah, Smart Hub CDP will provide you both the features, and it is a product to go when we are when we are looking for enterprise platform.
Right. Let's quickly go through the basic terminologies. All right. So the first one is Stream API. So Stream API basically helps you send real-time behavioral and transactional data about the user from your application to CDP. Next, you have REST API. So all the CRUD operations. All right. You can consider even a custom property which you want to add as per your business into CDP. You can do that using REST API. It can be available in the CDP, and then you can do some magic with that particular property. Next is batch API. So again, as the name suggests, batch, right? Large amount of data. It could be offline in data ingestion. It could be a sync that is set up using, say, an Azure function from SAP or other CRM systems into CDP. Now, the next one, okay, segmentation. Basically, in our initial terms or the XP terms, user profiles or personas, we can sync it, or we can think about that as a segmentation for us. All right. Next, one thing that we need to think about as if we look at the XConnect world or the XP world, right? So we used to call contact. So a guest is the one who interacts with the brand. So the one which we used to call contact is now a guest in CDP terms. Visitor, unidentified contact, and customer, identified contact. Okay. Now in XP world also, we used to have contacts which were like orphaned eventually if they are getting details out. That is a kind of a similar concept which is called here retired guest, right? So technically what happens, let's say I'm visiting a website first on a desktop, and then I'm visiting the website on a mobile phone, and I'm registering on a mobile phone, right? So initially I was a visitor on both the devices, but as soon as I registered, I became a customer. Now, when I log in back into my desktop with the same profile, that contact information moves into the customer profile, and that is when that particular visitor is retired.
Yeah. So now in order to personalize any kind of experiences in Sitecore Personalize, we have two ways. One is experience, experiments. Okay. So in experience, when we will create an experience or when you will create an experiment. So if you are damn sure that your content is only one variant of content can serve all the purposes, then use experience. But if you are not sure that whether one content or the other content can serve the purpose, then you will create two different variants or three different variants and use experimentation. So basically, if your marketer is not sure, like using this variant I will get more engagement, or using other variant I will get more engagement, so in that case, go with experimentation. But if your marketer is sure like only one variant can help me achieve all my purposes, go with experiences. Then whenever you create an experience or experimentation, there is few terms which comes page targeting. So page targeting, basically, like whenever you create an experience, you want to target to some page onto which that experience should apply, right? So in that case, page targeting will come into an action. So you can configure a particular absolute URL, or you can give a regex. So this supports regex as well. Okay, suppose you have products, and in products you have multiple pages, right? Sub-pages. So you can /product/star, right? So in that case, it will also support. So this page targeting have all the features to have regex support as well as absolute URL with the host you can give. Then you have an audience. In audience, basically, I can see like, suppose I have an offer which I have provided to a user, right? And I want that user to see that offer only one time. And I don't, if he clicks on the button, I don't want that offer again to be visible to that particular user. So in that case, we can use audience. So audience will basically filter out when to show that particular experience to the user, right? So in that case, like you can configure like when the user has clicked that button, but has not clicked that button, then show that experience. In the audience, basically, you can write JavaScript code, right? So the JavaScript code will execute at the server side, and you can do your actions. So when you want to basically filter out like whether this should be visible or when should this be visible, you go with the audience. Then decisioning, as I mentioned earlier, this is the crux of the CDP. So I can never see an experience or experiment created without decisioning. All the demos which I will show you in this SUGCON, all are using decisioning model. Okay, so decisioning, I will say, like, if you want to interact with AL, MI, you go with decisioning. Okay, so in order to get a dynamic data on the page, you use decisioning. So decisioning, I think, is a way to go in CDP. Then the goals. Goals are similar in Sitecore XP, right? If I've created 2 different variants, I want to know which variant is performing better. Then I will attach a goal on my experiment or experience, and through that, I will be able to know like which variant is winning. And this goal basically helps us to decide which variant will win the race. Yep.
All right, enough of theory, guys. Let's have some role play. So let me wear my marketer's cap and let me ask you some questions.
Let me wear my consultant cap.
All right. So I have a few use cases for you, and I want you to develop them for me. All right. I have 2 specific use cases. One, personalization for visitors, and second, personalization or a connected experience for customers. So let's look at the first use case. I want location-specific personalization. Okay, so I have overall statistics available. I am in auto industry, all right. My dealers around India have given me a statistics that Scorpio N is selling the most in Delhi, Thar is selling the most in Gurgaon, and XUV 300 is selling the most in Vadodara. So what I really want to do is I want to touch that human connection, because generally what happens, whenever we are looking at something which is near us and we don't have it, we feel like we want to have it. That is a very much human thing. It's a subconscious. So I would like to bang on that subconscious, and what I would like to do is I would like to market Scorpio N in Delhi, Thar in Gurgaon, and XUV 300 in Vadodara. So can we do that with SmartHub CDP?
Yeah, well, Varun, we have created one use case for this that will entirely support your marketing strategy which you have. So let me just switch on to the demo. Can you please switch on to it? Yeah, basically this is a Versal app, again, which we have created using Versal, and again, we have used NGRock. So if anyone have a local CM and want to make that public, so Versal only support public URL for CM, so you can use NGRock. So we have currently used NGRock as well as Versal to make our application public. Yeah, so this is basically a website which we have sells cars, like you can see Thar and all other stuff. So this is a demo hero banner which you can see. This is the default variant right now. And then we have some features, like each car have different features, like which you see, like sky roof, Adrenox, wireless charging, which we look when we are going to buy a car, push button start, parking sensors, airbags. Yeah. So this is basically an overview of the website which we have created. So now if I this is this hero banner which we have personalized. So let me now refresh this website. Bank. So you can see now my, as my marketer mentioned, he wanted to promote Scorpio N in Gurgaon, in Delhi region. So as you can see, I am currently in Delhi and I'm giving presentation from Delhi. So here you can see my Scorpio N banner is coming, and as if we are Delhiite, we want more comfort, more spacious cars. So we have entered the text. So basically we have personalized the text and the image using the Sitecore decisions. So for Delhi, we have this variant. And similarly, if I go to Gurgaon, so for Gurgaon people, basically you will be all people visited Gurgaon know this DLF City Hyper City Club, and then we have this variant. And similarly for Vadodara people, we will have this XUV 300. So as the marketer suggested, he wanted 3 different variants according to 3 different locations, and we are able to support that. So whenever user visit any our website, so they will get different variants on the banner. So now,
sweet.
Yeah.
I'm curious how this is done in SmartHub CDP. Can you show me that?
Sure. Before proceeding into that, I would like to show you one more thing. So this we have done using SSR. Okay. So the benefit of using SSR over the normal Engage library, when I do a control U, a view source of this page. Now you see the message have been changed here as well. So whenever you're using Engage library, that provides out-of-the-box client-side integration. But now what we have done, we wanted that text to be changed as well as that text to be SEO friendly, because we don't want that text change, but the SEO does not recognize the text, right? So in that case, what we have done, we have used SSR. If you have worked on Next.js, you must be familiar with SSR. So we have server-side called the box-server library and called the personalization, and using that, all the data is dynamically getting changed. So
well, this is very much SEO friendly.
Yep. So as I was sure, like I wanted to show one particular variant. So I created a web experience for that. If I would have different variants, then I would have moved to experimentation. But I was sure that I wanted to show only one particular image for that particular region. So that's why I created an experience. So let me go to full stack experience. Yeah. So this is the experience which I have created. Hero banner. So decisioning, as I mentioned, so from decision, I'm getting the dynamic data. So basically the image and the text which I'm changing, I'm getting it through my decision model. So let me just navigate to that. Yeah, so as you can see, we have, whenever we are creating up decisioning, we need to always move from bottom to top. So make sure like you are following this convention to move from bottom to top. And first of all, like we are getting the guest city. So Sitecore CDP has inbuilt capabilities. So you saw like I didn't allow any notification, but it automatically recognized from where I am visiting the website. Right? So this is inbuilt capabilities of CDP, in which, like again, this is a JavaScript code. I will not go much into that, but basically it retrieves the city and the country, and then we display that output. Now here is the decision. So basically, decision table helps us to map the input to particular output. So whenever we are visiting from Delhi, Gurgaon, or Gurugram, I want to show a particular data source, right? So these are the data sources I have created: Delhi, Gurgaon, Vadodara. And where are these data coming from? So we have a capability of storing content in CDP as well, which we do using offers. So here you can see we have created 3 different offers for Delhi, Vadodara, and Gurgaon. And here we have the text as well as the image. So one way of getting a dynamic data is using offers. And from that, once I have dynamic decision table created, this decision table will return the data. This decision table will return my data to the API tab. Okay, I have created a flowchart, then you will get the entire journey, how it goes. So this decision table will return data to the API tab. This basically returns a JSON. This JSON is consumed in my Next.js app that I will display in the flowchart, how that data gets changed. Basically, that the flow goes from decision model to API and then the Next.js app. Yeah, can you switch on to the slide? Yeah, this is the flowchart which we have created, what happened behind the scenes. So when the user visited a Next.js app, we call the personalized stream API from the server app using SSR. Okay, so we use SSR to call the stream APIs. Then the role of box-server comes. Box-server checks against your audience filter. First of all, it will check whether the guest lies in the particular audience. Then the decision model will be executed, as I said. The hierarchy is decision model, then the API tab. So the JSON response is returned from the API tab, then the response is sent back to the client. So here everything happened at the box server on the right. Now when at the client side we receive the response, we have the layout service, right? So layout service has been mapped to that personalized data. So from that layout service, we manipulated, we changed the response of layout service, and we guest sees a personalized experience. So this is the entire journey, and using SSR, we have changed the content at server side rather than on client side.
Well, I am interested in Sitecore Smart Hub CDP now. Let me give you another use case. I want to have a feature-specific personalization. So let me explain it to you. We saw the features on the website, right? Like press start button, wireless charging, this, that. So what I really want to do is see my users, my online users specifically, they come over the website and they look at the features. They like the features and then they like some model, right? So selecting a model variant, they are not sure whether that particular variant of the model has that feature or not. So I want to help them out selecting this. Can Smart Hub CDP do that?
Absolutely. CDP can do anything you think.
Right. Then let's switch over
Sure. Can
to
you
your
switch on to the
laptop
demo?
and look at it.
Yeah, so this is the features page features which we have created. So suppose user is visiting any of the features. So I would like to ask a question like, what are you looking in your car? Which feature are you looking for?
Let's go ahead with wireless charging.
Sorry?
Wireless charging, please.
Wireless charging. So as a user, let me navigate to wireless charging. So this is a feature detail page. The user looked this page, and then he's interested in this feature, and he go to the models page. This is the models lineup. So we have different models, XUV 700, Scorpio, and Thar, and all the variants which we have. So now, which car you want to book for the wireless charging?
Well, let's go ahead with 700, the beast.
Right. So let me click on book now. Bank. Here you go. You see, we have created this experience. So what it did, you see like whatever the feature I visited last time, wireless charging, right? I've navigated through wireless charging. It showed me here wireless charging. Now, because user do not know which variant has supports wireless charging, right? Now we are providing the information to him. If you want to book the car, just book for this variants AX7, AX7L. So this way we are suggesting him because that particular variant only supports this wireless charging. So this will help him to decide it in the future which car to buy.
All right. Is this hard-coded or can we check another feature?
Sure, man. So let me go for Scorpio and here you see.
All right.
We have used the same experience, same other car model, but we have a different recommendation for Z8 because Scorpio N comes in if you have bought that car. Scorpio N has Z8L variant and other variants do not support these features, so this is the one.
I like to see how it works from CDP and personalized standpoint.
Sure. So again, I have created a, I've not created this time a full stack experience. Full stack experience I will only create when I want to return JSON data and display on the page. But this time I wanted to create a model pop-up. Model pop-up can only be, or a kind of notification pop-up, can only be created using the web experiences. So differences between full stack and the web. Full stack will return you a JSON data, which you can consume at your front-end app. Web, you can create a model pop-up, and that model only will return to your web page. So here is a model which I have created, book now pop-up. Here you can see I have supported page targeting. Page targeting contains my Versal app URL. I can advance in the advanced targeting script. I can give RHX also. Now again, I will navigate to the decision model. Here you go. So first of all, what I did, I wanted to get the audience. Because without knowing the audience, I won't be able to know which category that user lies in. So first of my programmable is get the audience. I'll just navigate through that code from the high level. It basically, in the event, we have binded the audiences and we are retrieving that. I'm not going much through that. Then we have created two decision tables, one for XUV 700, one for Scorpio N, and then we have the final recommendation. So whatever recommendation comes, that recommendation again gets sent on the experience. Now this time it goes to the experience in the variant one. So as I told you earlier, experience we will only create when we are sure we need to create one variant and that one variant supports our entire journey. So let me just open that. So here you can see the HTML of my code is here. It's not in my Next.js app. It's here. And from here, it's getting displayed on my Next.js app. And same, all the HTML, CSS, JavaScript, everything is here. And the API, here is the API tab. So whatever gets returned from the decision model gets binded here. Whatever gets binded from API returns to the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So there are different ways to consume that. We have free marker. If everyone is worked on free marker, this is a free marker language. You can learn that or explore that, because while working on CVDB, you need to know FTL for sure. Yeah, so this was the, can you move on to the slide? Yeah, so this is the flowchart, what happened behind the scenes. We are user visited the Next.js app. Now, difference between experiment, because experiment, full stack experience. Full stack experience, you have just experience that calls, JSON gets returned, everything is okay. But in this case, when you create a web experience, so there is a plugin on client side, which calls all the experiences which you have configured. So make sure you make active all the web experiences which you want to make live, because all the web experiences will get executed while you are running on the Next.js app. So plugin on calls client side will call all the web experiences, and then it will again check all the conditions which are there: page targeting code, audience filter, decision model. Decision model will return the data in the API tab. Now, data return from the API tab will go as to client as a web HTML response. So earlier it went as a JSON response. Now it will go as a HTML response, and the HTML response and sees the personalized experience. So this is basically an overview when to use web experience and when to go with full stack and when to go with normal one.
Great. Now, do you remember the initial personalization slide when I was explaining one point of a user going to test drive and then we continuing the conversation on the website? That is the next task for you. Personalizing or providing a connected experience to my customers. Let's have a look at it if Smart Hub can do that.
Fortunately, Varun, we have created a demo for this as well. So let me, yeah. So this page is like for like we have went offline to a dealer, right? So this page we can give to our dealer. What they will do whenever the user visits for test drive, they can register us, right? So suppose you went for a test drive, right? So what at a dealer end, they will use this page, register you. So let me just register you.
Thank you for remembering my surname right.
And since you are looking for XUV 700?
Yeah, I am 700 fan.
Okay.
Oh, I think we misplaced it. 7,000. 7,000 is yet to be launched.
Yeah, so since you have visited, sorry?
We put in the value as 7,000, I believe, in the
That's
offline
fine. The whatever value I displayed there will get displayed, so just not. So now as an offline visitor, dealer registered you in My Versal app. Now when you go back home, you wanted some connected experience, right? This is your requirement. Yep.
Yep. Now let's serve the website.
Let me go back to my website and log you in. So let me just use this email. Bank. So you see, like this experience got created this time. How this model pop-up came? I registered this user in XUV 700. So when he came back home, logged into the website, he saw that there's something getting engaged. Now he see how we asked him a question: how was your test drive? Would you like to book this model now? XUV700.
Absolutely, why not?
So we have provided the link where you can go ahead and book this model. So basically, this is a way we have connected the offline user to an online user using the web experiences. So
This is fascinating. I would like to see this work in Sitecore Smart Hub CDP.
Sure. So again, like I've created a web experience for this, which is a guest notification pop-up. Again, I will navigate to my decision model. Basically, I wanted to get the model name. So what I have done is, whenever the user from the test registration page goes and register himself, that dealer register himself, and go to that particular guest profile. So let me navigate to that guest. So in CDP, you can do all this. In Personalize, you will not be able to do this because this dashboard is not available in Personalize. So you can filter all the data and everything you can do in CDP. Now, if you go to the properties of that user, so this you can consider similar whenever we worked in the XP world. So we created contact facets, right? So these contact facets are similar to what we create in CDP. So here you see we have a model. We have a custom attribute basically binded to that user. In that, we binded the model name which he was looking for. So from the basically his requirement, whatever is the test drive he did, I created a custom attribute at my guest profile, and I binded that to that particular guest. Now in my audience filter.
And which API would we have used to do that? Can anybody answer that? REST API it is. Thank you for being awake.
Yeah, and yeah, so let me just quickly navigate to the decision. So basically, from the programmable, I get that just that model name from the data extension attributes, and I return similarly to my experience. So let me just quickly go to the overview of the flowchart. Can you just go on the slide? Yeah, so here we have two types of user. One is the dealership user, one is the customer. So dealership user use our next app, do test drive registration. In this, what we did a post API call from next app. One most important thing, whenever you are updating the guest contact data, you need to depend on the server side. You cannot do it from client side. Any property you want to update for guest, you need to use server side code. So for that, we have called from next app. Then this REST API call in CDP. Basically, we have done a REST API call. For that, you will need a complete client ID, client secret, all these stuff you will require, which will update the guest data extension. So this is the complete one picture which was there. And when the customer goes, our second journey was customer comes to the next app, logs into the website, he sees the web experience. Because what we have done is we have done an audience filter. When this guest have this particular data, then only show that web experience for that him. So this way we have done the connected journey for that.
Very nice.
Yeah. Yeah, so as a bonus, we will cover on to the Sitecore CDP webhook triggers. So as a consultant, my role is not just to satisfy your requirements. I take pride in delivering more than what you expect. So I have created one more use case for you, which is CDP webhook triggers. So let me just showcase you. I will come to the flowchart later, how we have done it. We have used serverless functions and all those stuff. But before that, I will move on to the demo. Yeah. Yeah. So what we have done is for triggering the webhooks. So as we have worked in XP, we used to collect some points. Whenever the user is visiting some page, we want to associate some points, 10 points, 20 points of some other feature, 30 points of other feature, and we wanted to collect all those points. So let me just go to the Skyroof page. Let me just open the network tab so that you can understand better. So whenever I'm going on to the Skyroof page, so what happens in the backend, in the engaged library? Let me just click that. So a page event got executed. Here you see. In the page event, we have basically a type of event is view event, and we have audiences tagged to that particular page when the user is visiting, and also the points. So basically, whenever the user is visiting a page, we have tagged points as well as the audiences.
And let me tell you, this is using the Stream API.
Yep. So all the functions done on the engaged library will be using Stream API. And similarly, if I go to some other page, let's suppose airbags. Again, the page event will got execute, and then we will have different points associated. So what we wanted is, as a whole sum, we wanted like all the points which the user is traversing. We wanted to store these session points somewhere at the backend, so that we know like what kind of engagement the user is performing on the websites. So for that, what we have done is on the session end event. So there is another type of variation which we can create in CDP using webhook as a trigger, in which we can configure triggers when that particular action needs to be performed. So let me just open that trigger. So it will be a part of full stack. And here it is. Here is the experience for that. Yeah, so you can see we have triggered it on the session closed. So what it will do, I'm not showing you the decision model because of constraint of time, but what it will do, it will get dynamic data from basically the session points from the decision model, and then it will basically call I hope everyone worked on serverless functions. So we have created a serverless function in Azure, which is basically this function which we have created. This basically will trigger this serverless function, and the API body will be this. Basically, we'll provide the guest and the points. So using the serverless function, this will update the points in the guest profile. So let me just quickly close. So since this trigger works on session close, so let me just quickly close the session. Because the timing of your session close you provide while configuring your POS. So we have provided a POS of 20 minutes. So session timeout happens after 20 minutes. So, but we don't have time to wait for 20 minutes. So we'll just close the session for now. We can forcefully close the session. Yeah, so I've closed the session. And if I go back to the guest profile, here you see ext attribute added. So we have one added for model, another is for ext. So this got added from my serverless function. It will show all the points collected on my journey. So whenever my session ends, so suppose on my one session I collected 20 points, so it will have 20, and then from another session I collected 25 points, so with 20 plus 25, which will be 45. So it will accumulate all your points using that serverless function and store that in my guest profile. Now, why I'm storing that points? Because I wanted to do a kind of categorization for that particular user, like using my batch segmentation. So let me just quickly go to batch segmentation. Here I've created my batch segmentation, in which I'm saying, so whatever your external attributes you will create on your guest, they will come while you're creating batch segmentation. So here I'm saying like group all those users whose points collected is greater than 20. And what I will do, I will be sending the email to them, basically because they are more engaged on my website, so I can trigger a notification using audience sync or some other things. So batch segmentation, then the audience sync, that can sync to external system which you want. And
you are a great consultant, my friend. Let's move to the slides.
I'll just quickly go to that flowchart. First, user visits the next tab. We send a page event. So page event I've showed you in the demo. That includes point collected. Then on box server, when we close the session, full stack experience is triggered. Then the decision model is triggered to fetch the points. Then API tabs call the external webhook using post method. This is the Azure serverless function. Serverless function basically updates my guest profile with the points collected, and I have a batch segmentation on CDP.
All right.
This is a quick overview of code. Basically, whenever you are using Engage library, you need to have server-side integration because we have worked on SSR. So this code I've not seen anywhere in the community yet. So we will sharing a blog post for this, all the learnings which we did. So one at the server side and one at the client side. So those who have worked on React must be understanding this code. And we need to make sure whenever we are using Engage library, we need to initialize Engage library only once. It is not that Engage library is called multiple times. So we have used use context in React. If everyone have worked on React, they must be understanding this code. So using this, we have done. So this basically is a client-side code as well as a server-side code. And yeah.
Yep. Any questions? Anybody? Yes, please.
Mentioned the scenario like where the user looked at one feature. Suppose I visit two features, so will the recommendation will be based on that?
So it's basically building the decision table how you want to. So currently we just wanted to demo it with one feature, that how it is possible to be done. But technically what you can do is you can have multiple conditions taking together, and it's simple, like as usual we have if-else ladder. So similar to that we can build out decision tables and do the needful.
And like let's consider a scenario where I look at two features, but there is no corresponding result for that.
Sorry, there is no?
Subsequent result for that scenario.
That is also quite possible, and in that case, similar to an if-else or a switch case, we can have a default saying, you know what, this feature is not available in this model yet from our perspective. So we can do that as a default or a de facto.
So you have a complete JavaScript front end written, so you can have a multiple conditions for that. Hope it answers your question.
Yeah, thanks.
So this is a great session. I think you guys have done a wonderful job. So question here is the real-time data, right? Because I'm using a CDP, it's all my customer data. Then as a customer, I want to see how many people, like I have created 20 experiments. Now I want to see how many people are actually having that view. So do we have a real-time experience?
Yeah. So whenever you go to, can you
please switch? Thank you.
So whenever you create and make an experience live, you have the performance. Okay, currently I have not attached any goal. So in the performance, you will view all the results in the stats are there, in which you will get all the data like how your experience is performing. So this is a performance tab where you can collect all those details whenever you make your experience live.
So one more thing, right? Sitecore is saying like CDP is there and Personalize is there, right? Do you have a use case of business where you don't purchase the CDP, but you use the Personalize? So if you don't have the CDP, what is the point of having Personalize? Are you able to connect with the third parties, CRM systems and all, to use your Personalize?
Yeah, so that's why we recommended always to go with a SmartHub CDP, because it will provide both the features. Because
but can we recommend only one product to the client? Is it possible? The client will
yeah,
say,
you definitely, if you want to just do a personalization, right? So when I did personalization, you saw like I didn't use any kind of feature for CDP.
I have to duplicate my data here in this one?
Sorry?
Or like how my data will come into the CDP? Because
data will get injected. Using stream APIs, data will get injected. So data, because in the earlier slide I mentioned, right, you can use stream APIs whenever you use Personalize. So data will get injected, then you can use the same data for your decision model.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chirag. Thanks. 5 or 10 questions for you guys. No, just kidding. Two
Sure.
questions only. Okay. I mentioned you talk about the retired users or the visitors. When do you recommend that? Like, what is the flow of retired?
Yeah, so for example, you have multiple devices, right? Like you're visiting a website for the first time on a desktop, on a mobile, and then you are interested, so you're registering on a mobiles, right? So basically what happens, whenever you are a visitor, you'll have a box server ID or a browser ID attached to that particular contact, and whatever user transactions or interactions have happened, that will be in two separate IDs or two separate contacts. When you register, you become a customer, right? So in that case, what happens is that particular guest profile, which was previously unidentified, is now identified. But then on desktop, you still have an unidentified. When you log into your desktop, at that time, CDP identifies this data, it merges everything into one timeline of a customer. And that is when that particular guest is retired, and that is archived basically. You cannot look at that data.
Sure. Thank you so much. Last one. You mentioned something about with the decisioning, the one we checked. So any recommendations on how heavy we should maintain the decision? Maybe based on the, let's say, I have 10 products. I have multiple features to it, right? For all the products, it may be common. But when it comes down to the integrated products which are relevant to it, how can I make that particular, the connection of master product and the sub-products as well? Any recommendations on how the decisioning should be taken care so that it should not be that heavy?
Great question. Technically what happens in this case is we need to discuss with the business of what is more important to them first, because that has to be the priority in which we move ahead, whether in this case, if we say features in a separate conversation, it could be models are more important to me, right? So the direction that we need to take in such cases is what is more important for the business, because not two things can be priority one for them. So based on that, we can build a decision model and take it forward.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Can we switch
We
back
have
to the
one more
slides,
question
please?
from that.
Yeah, just like you have shown in your demo that there's a drop down of your location. This is a Gurgaon, Delhi, or Baroda. So suppose if I don't have the drop down, I just want to get a location, which we do usually in the XP, using the geolocation module. So is it a way that I can get the location real time and pass to the
Yeah.
CDP?
Definitely. So the drop down I just showed you for changing the city, but by default it loaded a Delhi Scorpio in, right? So CDP has the capabilities of recognizing your city as well as country. You will not get the geo coordinates. So just make in mind like city and country it will have. You will not have geo coordinates. So in using city and country you can do whatever. So whenever you go to guest profile in the sessions, there's the events. So whatever the first event executed, that first event will have details of city as well as country. Only the first event will have.
So I do not need to be install any module or the geolocation module. I do not need to be use it, right?
No, nothing.
Okay.
Decision model is we need when we want to read that data. So you will need to read that data from CDP, right? From somewhere. So decision model you will create to read that data of city and country from the decision table, and you will return to your whatever experience and experiment you want.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody. If you want to connect with us, you can connect with us, our community. And here are the few suggestions and few links which we utilized to present this. Thank you, Sitecore community, for putting everything together. And last but not the least, thank you, sponsors. Thank you, SUG event organizers. And thank you, my dear media team, for helping us out, making this presentation a success.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.